card. Here are the simple mechanics. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to day one of the first ever Web3 PH Summit happening here at Draper Startup House. I hope all of you are ready to learn from the experts on how to protect yourself financially and mentally from the market volatility. This afternoon's following event is entitled Trade Secrets: How to Trade Crypto Without Trading Your Mental Health. This session is going to be a panel discussion joined by 3 notable individuals. First on the deck, we have Olivia Yao, the founder of Miss O Consultancy, which specializes in educational consultancy, behavior intervention, special education, and mental health. A round of applause, please. Next, we have Celeste Rodriguez, Minister of Information at Yield Guild Games, or YGG, is a play-to-earn gaming guild bringing players together to earn via blockchain-based economies. We are the settlers of the new worlds in the metaverse. A round of applause, please. Lastly, we have Jacob Yedra, stockbroker at AP Securities Inc. AP Securities is a top-ranked Philippine stock exchange broker. They are a full-service discount brokerage firm offering clients superior service and extensive support products to facilitate informed investment decisions. A round of applause, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Can everybody hear me clearly? Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, welcome. Thank you for attending this Web3 Summit. Good afternoon. All right, so my name is Miss O. Well, it's Olivia, but a lot of people call me Miss O. As they've mentioned, I am a behavior interventionist. I mainly work with families. I educate and empower them to help them better their lives, right? I'm also a mental health advocate and a corporate consultant. Together with me today is Miss Celeste. Would you mind telling us about your involvement in the crypto trading space?
Sure. So actually, I started out in 2015. I was a nurse. I was working mostly as a cardiology nurse for adults, and I started trading. I started trading, and then afterwards, I've escalated that, trying to teach trading psychology, as well as got my license like him. I'm a stockbroker, but for To Trade Asia, and I started coaching trading performance and trading psychology at prop firms. So that's been my background before I went to crypto when I joined YGG.
Well, that's a big jump, huh, from being a... Okay, nobody has a heart attack, okay? Well, if you do...
No worries, I know what to do.
All right. Nako, it's actually heart attacks for, crypto traders. Not a far-fetched thing, huh? And next to me, this handsome gentleman, Mr. Jacob.
Hello everyone. I'm Jacob. So full time, I'm a stockbroker. So I've been trading in the stock market since, I'm older than a lot of you, 2007. So I've been in several financial crises, and my first exposure in crypto was in 2017, but that was a bad exposure. I get into an ICO of I don't want to say, but it left a bad taste, so I didn't touch crypto until last year only. But for more than a year, I've been very active in the Web3 space. We've been managing a Discord server, a community for NFT enthusiasts in the Philippines. We're about 500. So I'm just here to share my experience. So I've been trading for 15 years, and I work out every day. I meditate every day. I have 2 kids. One is a teenager, and I'm starting an agriculture business, and I'm still sane. So I think I can share something.
This is really amazing to be able to balance all of that, right? Well, as we all know, mental health, is an extremely important aspect of all our lives. And unfortunately, it hasn't been talked about a lot, right? Here in the Philippines, we're only in the awareness stage. We haven't really gotten to the point of acknowledgement and action when it comes to mental health. So, and we know that finances affect our mental health a lot. Now, with crypto trading, this can even worsen or help our mental health. Why? Because with trading, one day you could be rolling like royalty, right? Maybe partying like Chance the Rapper, right? holding your money bags and really being high in the highs. But then the next day, because it's so volatile, you could be eating red beans for the next couple of months and your soul is just retching out and be like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life now? So today we're going to be talking about how to help ourselves, right? Be in this space wherein we can still make sure that we remain sane, like this Mr. Jacob, right? Mr. Jacob seems to be doing a really good job at it. So let's start with our first question. Is that okay with all of you? Yeah? Okay, let me pull it up, okay? Give me a second. All right, so our first question is for Miss Celeste, right? So what is the most underrated concept in trading psychology, and what do you wish people knew more about it?
Sure. So I'd like to understand the crowd. Who here has tried to trade? Like just once, you know? Hey, everyone here has. Everyone here has. So actually, my boss, Luis, is here, and my team from YGG Philippines is here. Raz is here. Julie is here. So my boss, Luis, he said something really nice yesterday. We were at Bataan. So a few people here were there as well. We're in Bataan, and he talked about NFT art. He said in NFT art, it's so easy to get in, but it's a difficult skill to master. And that actually resonates in trading as well. A lot of people, when they get into trading, they start immediately thinking the tools they need to become a trader. They think that's what's going to make them a trader. But in trading psychology, kasi, I'd like to use this analogy a lot, even with my students when I teach them. The tool that you use, whatever strategy you have, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, chismis analysis, Facebook analysis, TikTok analysis, whatever analysis you use, Discord analysis, whatever you use, that's your tool. That's your tool, your risk management, whatever strategy you have so you don't lose all your money. I feel like that's your shield. But basically, the wielder of that tool, the person behind it is you. And trading psychology focuses on that person. So let's say, let's give this an example. Who here is you think you're pretty good at whatever you do at your job? Like, alam mo naman yung ginagawa mo. Hindi ka naman, di ba? Hindi mo naman first day. You know what you're doing at your job, but are there days, even up till now, na you feel like you're not doing as well as you really should? And a lot of times, it's because mentally, there's something you're working with. And trading psychology focuses on that. It focuses on the person, it focuses on the trader, it focuses on the self. So a lot of people think with trading psychology, ano yan? Like they don't really understand. But really, it's all about making sure that the holder of the weapon, the wielder of the tool, is prepared to make the right decision.
And I think even if you're not a trader, right, you can resonate with this. We always say, don't make your decisions when you're emotionally escalated, or don't make emotionally driven decisions. And I think this holds true with trading and being in the crypto space, right? It goes up and down. So you need to be mentally stable and use your tools and your skill sets, right, to be able to rationalize, hey, is this the right move for me? Yeah? Mr. Jacob, do you have anything to add on to that? I mean, you've been trading for so long.
Yeah, so
What do you do when you're like, oh my God, I just lost 100,000 or something like that?
yeah, because you have to accept the fact that in trading, it's it's something that you do that involves a lot of emotions and extreme emotions. You have fear, you have greed, you have hope, you get anxious, you get depressed, you get panic. But for me, for you to be able to really handle it well, is there are two things, and it involves number one is you need to focus on what you can control, because the macroeconomics, the geopolitics, the war in Russia and Ukraine, the president of the Philippines, you can't control those. So you have to control on the thing. You have to focus on the things that you can control. And first one is mental toughness. So how do you build mental toughness, especially in trading? So number one, for me, if you ask me, if you have to acknowledge and accept the fact that trading involves a lot of emotions, right? So it's inevitable. It doesn't matter how experienced you are, even if you have been trading for 20 years, for 30 years, you're still gonna feel something, right? So you have to acknowledge that. And then number two, you have to accept and acknowledge that when it comes to trading, there will be losses. It's part of the game. Any trader or investor that says to you that I haven't lost money, or I have a 100% hit rate, he's either bullshitting you or he's scamming you, or it's their first day.
So, talking about this, right? How different is the mental toll when it comes to NFT trading, right? And just trading stocks and equities. How different is the mental toll when it comes to that?
So as I've mentioned, I've been trading the stock market for about 15 years, since 2007, and I'm really into NFTs. I'm only into crypto because I need to buy crypto in order to buy NFTs, right? So number one is, well, it's a completely different ball game because the anxiety level in trading crypto and NFT is a lot different than in the stock market. You know why? Because at the end of the day, for example, I've witnessed the 2008 global financial crisis and the COVID crisis. So stocks went down, everything went down. But at the end of the day, you know that you're buying company. In crypto and in NFT, literally it can go to zero. So I had exposure in Luna. So when Luna went from 100 to 0.000001 in like 3 days, and USD pegged, for the crypto traders here, you know that, right? So when that happened, I was, oh my God. I thought my 15 years of experience in experiencing several market crashes prepared me for this, but it didn't. And to add to that, NFTs is also parang higher level pa of anxiety. Kasi in the NFTs, rug pulls are very common, and there's always this risk that you sign a malicious contract and then your wallet get hacked. All your NFTs will be gone, and all your crypto in your wallet will be gone. So the anxiety level is, well, your emotions are more hyper vigilant when you're trading in NFTs. And besides anxiety level, time. This is a big difference because in the stock market, right? Trading starts at 9:30 a.m. and it ends at 3 p.m. and we even have a lunch break, right? So we can plan our vacation. It's only Monday to Friday. We can plan our vacation. Like next week, it's a long weekend and we can relax. But in crypto and NFTs, there's no such thing. So it doesn't matter if it's Christmas, doesn't matter if holiday or whatever. A big market move can happen.
So this is where the FOMO really can set
And
in,
also,
huh?
also the anxiety because, for example, you're in a vacation, you're in a holiday, and suddenly your portfolio became half. So what are you gonna do, right? So those emotions involved there, it's really different. And 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 lastly, the difference is volatility. So a lot of people that invest in bonds, in real estate, they think that stocks are volatile, right? It's a roller coaster of emotions. But if you trade crypto, it's a different animal. And then, if you think it's volatile, wait until you try NFTs. It's also a different ball game.
Okay, talking about it's a different animal, Sell, right? How has the bear market? I mean, how has the bear market and FUD around Axie affected your community at YGG? And what message can you share with them? Because I mean, this is like such a different ball game now, right? And it can really spike up different things within that individual who is engaged in it.
So So the thing we have to understand about NFTs is it's a nascent technology. It's very new. It's very new. The fact that it just really exploded in the last few years, especially the PFP community where it's generative and there's thousands of it. That's super new. So the market is still trying to figure out how to behave in it in different cycles. With Axie, it was such a great gateway for people to get in crypto. In fact, one of the most mind-blowing figures about it is a lot of Filipinos never had a bank account, but their first wallet is the Ronin wallet. The thing is, with YGG naman kasi, we don't make our scholars pay for their Axie. Basically, they use the Axie for us and then nagkakaroon lang ng split. Of course, so wala namang part na lugi doon on them. It just made them after some time not worth their time to play. And what's happening really is just they're waiting again for it to be worth their time. So all those demotivation and stuff is I feel like a part of a larger thing, which is a bear market
Roller
anyway.
coaster.
Yeah, it's the roller coaster thing. In fact, I'd like to think that one of the biggest contributors to the bull locally back then was when Axie just really went up. A lot of people had so much spending power. Like you could see places like Cabanatuan, suddenly all these supercars na bibili ng managers nila out there. And it was good. And then of course the economy took a downturn as well globally happening, not even just in crypto, in stocks. We're looking at it everywhere. And so there's the motivation, but of course, these people naman, they're just waiting again for it to be worth their time.
Okay, usually when people wait for the time to do it again, that means that there's something, they lost confidence in doing what they used to do, right? How do you guys manage to keep your confidence level and your anxiety low when that happens?
So, well, typically this happens a lot to traders. But what happens is, it usually happens when a trader personalizes their trading life to their whole life. So a lot of times, there's a lot of sessions where we have to talk to the traders and say, hey, I know your trading's not doing so well right now, but take a step back. Remember, you're also a father. You can be a good father. You're also a brother. You're someone's son. Like, this isn't your whole life. And it's usually like that when someone starts to trade badly. Like when they start to equate their profits and losses to their identity. If profitable ako, I'm a successful trader, I'm a successful person.
So it becomes their individuality right away, right? And
Yeah.
so, can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. So I think like with this one, it becomes so much them that they forgot. They forget about the other parts of their lives.
That's exactly what happens with emotions. When a person has so much emotions, nagiging short-sighted sila. They only see a tunnel vision. They only see what's happening in front of them. They forget the broader version of their world, where this is just a single portion of their life, and then the rest of their life, actually, the rest of their life colors their trading. Like for example, si Jacob say he had a good day, right? He had a good day. His family life's doing well, and then he starts trading. He's at the right frame of mindset to make the right decisions. But say something really wrong is happening, right? He woke up, he's late for work, na-traffic siya, may nabunggu pang GrabX, mga ganon. Say may Grab
What a
pang
horrible
bumunggo sa
day.
kanya. It was just such a horrible day, and things are not doing well. Mentally, the rest of his life will affect his performance in trading. So those are the things that actually matter, that people often think. Now, when they need to be a good trader, they have to focus on the technicals. I have to focus on timing the market right. But really, the question they have to ask is, am I at the right frame of mindset to make the right decisions? Kasi when they make goals, right, it's usually super easy to know what you need to work on, correct? Like seriously, right now, if I ask you, do you think there's something you need to work on with yourself? You definitely know. You know what it is. But the harder part is getting yourself to do it.
It's the implementation.
Implementation. It's the same thing with trading.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with trading.
So let me ask the both of you actually, what do you do? Do you have like a routine, right? To kind of like push down anxiety a little bit and say, hey, I need to do what I have to do and make rational decisions to be able to make this work?
Personally, I don't really have a routine, but I have a routine for my day.
Do you have like a mental routine though, like to set you up? Hey, it's gonna be a good day. I'm Jacob.
I don't really have that, but what I can share is to add to what I've been saying earlier. So, mental toughness in trading, how to deal with all these kinds of emotions,
But
how
that
to deal
takes
with FOMO.
training.
So, yeah, I mentioned earlier, so you have to accept that losses are part of the game. Number two is, for me, you have to build experience, and there's no shortcut to experience. It's something that you have to experience the losses, the gains. What are your emotions when you felt that you were able to hit your targets and everything. Nagulo tuloy ako. So mental toughness, and then you have to also have, for me, change in mindset. Like if you're having losses, instead of feeling bad, feeling sad, maybe think of it as something that it's a lesson.
So, would you say, Jacob and Sal, right, that getting into trading means that you have fully opened your eyes to the reality of things and not listen to those people saying, oh, it's 100% sure guarantee, put all your life savings into it, things like that. But you really have to open your eyes and your mind to realize that, hey, I can lose money here. And I'm prepared to lose this money if it happens, right? So wouldn't setting boundaries and limits to what you can lose be a good strategy for traders?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things that you have to do right off the bat. But the good thing about trading, or even in NFTs in general, in anything that involves money, you learn pretty quick.
That's true. It's a good
Make,
motivator.
you make the mistake, you learn pretty quick. It's pretty harsh, right?
Yeah.
So the problem kasi minsan with consequences is it doesn't come immediately. In trading, it does. Like you see it immediately that you made the wrong call. You see it immediately that you shouldn't have done that. And I really love when Jacob talks about mental toughness kasi this term it gets to be misunderstood. When people think mental toughness in trading, they think, okay, I just gotta go hard at it for 6 months and then I'm set for the rest of my life. It's never that way. Nothing, never, not because it's something that you can continuously improve on for the rest of your life simply because markets are dynamic. Just because you figured it out now, that doesn't mean by next month it's going to stay the same. So what's more important to understand? Sustainable success. Sustainable success, like what I mean is over a long period of time, are you actually trending upwards? Are you progressing properly even if there are days where you're doing dips, right? And it's so important to have rest, right? Periodization, there are times you sprint, there are times you rest, and it's more important that you understand that you allow yourself to rest. Who here thinks now when they're resting, they're being unproductive? Just be honest. I think I definitely feel that way a lot of times. But when you do not rest and you continue to work, were you actually being productive? No.
Not at all.
And the trickiest part about this, Miss Ono, is sometimes we think we're resting, but we're actually not. We're just distracting
Distracting
ourselves
ourselves.
with little things that actually stress us more. So in trading, yes, risk manage, but also in yourself, manage yourself and know when to stop.
So, Sal, we're talking about managing yourself. Can you cite an example when kind of like experienced like a significant loss? How were you able to manage that loss, your emotions, your mental health, and how did you bounce back from that?
Yeah, so I can share because I've experienced a lot of losses, so I'm here. And so just like what Sel said, once you
Master.
have losses, you'll realize quickly that you need to learn, right? And what I've learned is, even if you're mentally tough, even you say, "Oh, I'm well rested," whatever, even all of that, even if you have been meditating every day, if you don't have discipline and a system in place, like for example, you sold your house, you sold your car, you sold your farm, and you went all in Sol. That's just an example, guys. You went in Sol and went 50 to 100 times leveraged. It doesn't matter how mentally tough you are. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. So you need to have a discipline and systems in place, like risk management, cash position, position sizing, and for example, an NFT went up already, and your friends say, "Hey, it's gonna pump more," but it's already 10 times. So would you go for it, right? So the discipline of not entering something like that, and also the system in place when everything is crashing, you know what to do. So, you can reinforce your mental toughness with discipline and systems, trading systems.
So it's kind of like knowing really your own boundaries and your limitations, right? And not letting FOMO get in the way. And yeah, FOMO can definitely wreck you, even if it's not in trading, right? Pagod ka na pa, party ka pa, right? But guys, like with trading, there's also such a thing that's going on now, like the gambling, the addicting nature of it, because the highs are really high, and then all of a sudden it crashes, and then you want to go at it again. Have you guys experienced any of this?
I think it is very typical for traders to experience any of this. The dopamine hit.
Yeah.
It's the same hit we get
Euphoric
when
hit.
may notification ka sa phone mo and you wanna know what it is, right? And it's also the same hit you get when you're trying to when you're gambling. It's the same hit you get when you place a risk, you place a bet at the market and hope that you make money out of it. So everyone goes through this. But there was actually a study in people from Wall Street, and they started thinking, na, do people who have more stomach for risk make better traders? Because that's the name of our game, risk. Do people who have more stomach for risk make better traders? Kasi hindi sila madaling matakot. And so they started measuring people's dopamine levels. Sorry if I'm being technical. There are people who are like, average people, sakto lang, normal range dopamine. And there are people who have lower of these people, and they're very conservative. And there are people who have high, they're very aggressive. They're really into those steals. Hindi sila nagpapaawat minsan. And what was revealing from that study is those who have really low risk appetite and those who have really high risk appetite underperformed. Those who have just enough risk appetite actually made better traders simply because, one, they respect the risk that is in front of them, but at the same time, they know when to go when they have to go. And so when we're talking about something like the gambling feeling, there are those who need to learn how to scale it down, while there are those who need to learn how to scale it up.
Talking about that, but sometimes, our friends would go, hey, let's do this.
I think Jacob is
Buy
he's
this.
very much into the stock. So being a stockbroker, you get a lot of information. Maraming FOMO feeling dyan.
Well, yeah, I manage a server with 500 people for NFTs and then a stockbroker. So basically, I've been like trading all the time. So, for me, kasi you have to cut down the noise. There's a lot of noise, and especially in social media, there's a lot of fake gurus. There's a lot of fake portfolio, and so you just have to realize, you trust yourself, be confident that what what you're doing, you have conviction, you studied it, and stick to it, and you have your discipline and you have your systems in place, so you don't get, because usually we get wrecked when someone says, oh, Celeste, ito si ganito, ganito, right? We get wrecked with that. So cut down the noise as much as possible. And especially right now, we always want to, we're in Twitter, we're in Discord and everything and everything. If you want to lessen your mental stress, before engaging with a troll or a reply guy, spending 2 hours going back and forth, you have to, ask yourself, is it Does it add value to me? Is it worth my time? Because if it's not, just drop it. You know, it's a waste of time.
I think that's a really, really good advice, right? You need people to self-reflect. Hey, does this add anything in my life? Does this actually help me? Or is it just sucking out all of my energy that I could be putting into something else?
Actually, Miss O, I remember you had a question earlier about losses. And I think I'd like to actually share the biggest loss and the most memorable loss of my life.
Okay.
So I guess it was 2015. So it was 2015. It was years back, right? And I was first starting to get into trading. And there's just so much hype over it in social media. Not a lot of regulation. People don't really have a lot of finesse. And they would actually tell you na parang umutang ka na sa tita mong OFW, ganyan. And, I was young, impressionable, very naive. And I actually did that thing na parang, not to my tita, but to my parents. So the money that I've put in my account came from my parents. And I kid you not, I lost all of it almost immediately. It wasn't a small amount, okay? I didn't come from a rich background. I came from a very middle class family. Both my parents are OFWs. We were okay, but we didn't live the kind of excess where their daughter could just spend money on the stock market like that. And that was such a humbling and harsh lesson. At that point, I realized that I need to know what the heck I'm doing if I need to make that money back. And I can tell you, I didn't do the right things. I didn't talk to people. I didn't talk to the right people, which I should have. And I didn't open up to my parents, which I should have. And I also did not try to give myself the leeway that I should. Because usually, when we mess up, what's our first instinct? I will fix this, right? I will fix this. I'm so sorry I messed up. Let me fix that. That's typically my first instinct. And that's what I did, right? So I lost it all. And I was like, I wanted to get back in. But at that point, do you think mentally you're at the right frame of mind? Di ba hindi? You're just naghahabol ka na sa next win mo agad-agad. And instead of trying to climb your way up carefully to get back to where you were, you wanted to get the jackpot win to get back the money you just lost. And so I wasn't even talking to people about it. Like my dad would be like, anak, kamusta na yung investment natin? Okay lang po. Zero na. Okay lang po, pero actually zero na. But that was what I was doing. So I share this to you now, guys, because I understand how it feels like to do the wrong thing, and I had to learn the hard way how to do it right. When you just went through a huge loss, something that must have devastated you, the first thing that you have to do when trading got you into that hole is to stop trading. If trading has started to dig your grave, the last thing you need to do is to dig more, correct? So stop. Take trading break, stop. Take a break and reassess yourself. Like really reassess yourself. Then figure out your steps, how to do it sustainably for a while. Kasi that discipline, the habits you build during that moment will define you eh. If you make your money slowly over time, it will build a habit in you na pwede to. Wag ko lang masyadong madaliin, kaya to. Pero kunyari, unfortunately, jumakpat ka, nabalik mo kagad. What will that teach you? Right? It will teach you the wrong things, and eventually it will get back to step one where you lost everything again, and now you're trying to make everything back again.
So you get
Yeah.
into a vicious cycle. So I
Exactly.
think with what Sel just shared with us, right, it's very important to reassess, realign, and recalibrate. So before you jump back into it, so the 3 Rs, right? So before we open up the floor for questions, do you have any practical and doable advice to manage stress, to manage your emotions, especially when you're in front of, such a lot, or maybe you're on a really high?
Well, for me, you need to really experience. That's why I don't believe in. Does anyone still planning to trade like they haven't really started? Meron ba dito? Nahihiya. I don't believe in paper trading because it doesn't involve emotions. Because a lot of people, they say, okay, paper trade ka muna, buy this, buy that. It doesn't involve emotions. So it's just like, you're planning, you're a boxer, you're planning to fight someone, and then you read a lot of books of how to punch and play Tekken and say, hey, I'm ready to fight, diba? But you can't. You have to go out there, spar, get hit, because when you get hit, you'll feel the pain and you'll know the experience. If you want to be good in trading, you have to start trading. There's no shortcut to that.
For me, he's correct. I think with paper trading, there's not a lot of consequences. But if you're just trying to learn pattern recognition muna, like you're learning technical analysis, this is your first time seeing a candle, you don't even know what a pattern is, fine, paper trade for a little bit. But for you to be able to withstand big psychological hurdles in trading, you need to build up with small ones. So first of all, start small. Because obviously, be humble, you're gonna make mistakes. Even the professionals make mistakes. Lalo na tayo, right? Everyone. Oh my gosh, everyone. Everyone, even the smartest people in the world, they do.
Warren Buffett loses money, right?
Yeah. So, number 2, manage your expectations. Have the right expectations. I can assure you that if you go online, you're going to see a lot of people posting their wins. They're not going to show you their losses, but that is what will set you apart from people who are just trying to make it versus people who actually made it is if you know how to handle losses and failures. Because those who do not are the ones who, because it's something that you're gonna have to deal with every day. Eh? And if you don't know how to handle it, how do you get to your winning part again? You're gonna win, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win, you're gonna lose. You know how to handle your wins, good, but how do you handle your losses? So that's it. Start building small. Start getting your feet wet. Because like he said, you can't just read about it. It's a performance sport. You're gonna be just the same as someone, like yung mommy ko, lagi nanonood ng basketball yon. Feeling niya mas magaling pa siya sa referee minsan. But, mali yung tawag nun, hindi naman foul yun. Ganyan yung mom ko. The same thing with trading. You could read about it, you could watch it, you could do whatever you want. But the only way you can get good at it is if you actually do it. It's a performance sport. There are going to be bad days. There are going to be good days. Learn how to handle the bad days. And everyone has bad days. And everyone handles it differently. Learn how to handle yours in a healthy way so you can get back to your good days faster.
Okay, that's really, really good advice, right? So educate yourself, practice, do it slowly, little by little, and then, as you have to build on the skills, basically, right? You can't just go from step 0 to step 10 right away. Okay, now I think we have a couple of minutes to answer some questions from the audience.
Yes, we have.
We do. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, there you go.
Hey guys, I'm Blockchain Whisperer. What is your opinion about traders that kind of hedge their funds around different industries? Like, for example, having tokens in play to earn, and shitcoins and layer 2, layer 1s. Do you think that's a safer strategy than trying to just do swing trading on one particular token?
For me, it really depends. A trading style will depend on your personality. You also have to know your strengths and weaknesses. So, for example, someone who's very good in trading 15-minute charts, someone who doesn't like looking at the screen all day will not excel in that. So some people, they can develop like hawk-like skills, like just watch this, only ETH, only trade Bitcoin, but trade the volatility, do 50 times leverage. You can do that. While others, like investors, they don't have the time to do that. They will allocate resources. So, well, to cut the long story short, there's no correct answer for that. It depends. You have to find out your style. You have to find out where you're comfortable, and you have to find out where you're good at?
You know, when I was starting out, I actually was on the quest to answer the same questions that you have. Na parang, is this better than this? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I understand, like, so over the years, I actually started to find something that worked for me, and I became such a strong advocate for it. You have to believe in your system, actually. Like, if you constantly try to put your money on the line, you have to be convicted that it will work. But then I started working at a prop firm, and I started coaching a lot of professional traders, and it really, really, really humbled me to realize how many strategies out there work that doesn't look like mine. At the end of the day, what you're going to try to figure out in your earlier stages as a trader, as a novice, so I made stages of traders kasi if you're a level 1, level 2 trader, at this point, what you're trying to find out is not what strategy works best. Something more important, what strategy works best for you. Kasi one, iba yung schedule mo sa schedule ko, correct? Paano kung mas gising ako sa gabi, ikaw umaga? What if yung risk appetite mo mas mataas sa akin, mas mababa? What if may gusto mo pala tinitingnan mo yung news? Kasama sa news yung analysis mo. There are people who don't, really. They don't. They just look at the price action. Price action lang sila kasi they're in and out eh. Hindi naman sila there for the big wave or the like small wave. They're literally there just for, oh my God. Sorry, na-shock ako. Okay na po. Okay, sige na po. They're literally there for what, 15 minutes, right? So do they care about the news? Not really. They're trying to figure out if the next candle will be towards their bias. So whatever works for you, find that out. But here's my advice. If you're still trying to explore, don't marry yourself to one system, and also don't put a lot of money. Give yourself room for experimentation, but collect all the data that you can. Sayang eh, kasi there are people who are exploring and experimenting, pero hindi nila nire-record yung data. So they can't look back. Like parang, ay teka, nag-work ba talaga yung last time? Yeah, we call that journaling. Yeah, they don't see, they don't get to compare. So experiment ka na experiment, pero hindi mo naman sinusulat kung alin yung nag-work at hindi. Sayang. This is experience. You're gaining experience. At some point, you will make money. You will. Sustainably. But you have to go through this process first, and no one can do that for you.
Can I ask a quick follow-up question? Where do you find, like, is there a resource where you can find all of these different kind of systems, or do you have to join different groups? Like, how does the average person get to learn, or not for them to try, but more like just for their understanding, like what are the different systems in play, or are they all custom?
Be coached by self.
Well, I coach kasi performance and the person. Yung strategies, kanya-kanya talagang hanap yan. Like, yes, honestly, a lot of times it's self-study, but some people, they really need someone to guide them to figure out what works best for you talaga. Like, kasi you can't continue to study something for 5 years if you hate the process of studying it. So what makes you happy, right? There are people who really need to do it alone. Go ahead. There are people who really need to be guided. Go ahead. What works for you?
I'm assuming, hi Jacob.
Hello, my friend.
So we have a group called Crazy NFT Friends. Yeah, Lives is my friend once in a while. So I'm assuming this discussion is to incept people who are new to trading, right? Because like Este was alluding to, there's level 1, level 2. Obviously, if you're level 3, you don't need this kind of talk, right? Right? Because you're saying like, oh, you can self-study. So for most people, I'm assuming they have their stuff organized. So here's my question. Assuming the goal of this discussion is to incept people, right? Like, if all of us who haven't been trading, we want to copy trade you, right? For the sake of argument, what would be the craziest like arbitrage trade, whatever you recommend for most of us to do maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, so that we get a taste of trading, and we win, right? In other words, we don't have access to the data. Everything is new for us, right? So what would be your recommendation just for us? Like you said, you have to get in, step in, but someone has to tell us, right? Like if you did this, I'm sure Jacob and Celesta, you know what, if you just did this and you listen to me, you'll be happy, something like that. So what would that advice be for all of us who never might have traded, or like maybe we traded once, we got burned, and now we're looking for an excuse, and we're looking for a sign to get back in, and this is the sign. What would the sign be? Okay ba? Okay, may naka-question niya.
Oh, okay. What would the sign be?
This is the sign.
Okay, first, let's establish a fact. There's no one way to success. If trading is not for you, you realize. Yeah. So okay, ganito muna. If trading is not for you, you realize that trading is not for you. You freaking hate looking at charts. You freaking hate looking at the news. It does not excite you. Other things make you come alive, like art, right? That's something you could do too. But if you feel like you're being called, talagang, this is something you like, you love the data, you love the drama of the candles, okay, start small again. So figure out all the mistakes that got you burnt last time, and this time, don't do it again. Don't do it again. There's so many resources out there. We have our friends from Bitsquela here as well. I used to be in a company called ZFT. We used to teach trade. They still do. We teach, and I still do whenever we have lessons. We teach technical analysis and trading psychology. But something super important for me to impart with you for all, might get in trouble to say this because there's a lot of brands who like to collaborate with me. No one will care about your money more than you. If you try to copy trade other people, of course they care about their reputation. But ikaw, sa'yo, mas personal talaga yung performance na yun kasi pera mo yun eh. And over the long run, being able to be independent from the performance of other people will serve you the most. So I know it's going to be tough to hear this from me right now, but it's the truth. If you put in the work first, you're going to set up yourself better for a longer time. Yeah.
That's really deep, because like, no, seriously, because a lot of people get into it and they're just like so wide-eyed. Nga, parang wala. So there you go. So a lot of people get into it and they're like, oh, happily ever after, I'll have this and that already, right? But not knowing what the real risks are. And some people like me, I'm very risk averse, right? So I have to make sure that some of my money is really set up to pay my bills and, to pay for my booze if I need it and all of that before I go and invest my money into something else, right? So you need to make sure that you give yourself that comfortable space and that money that you're playing with, quote unquote, right, is something that won't really hurt you or your family in the long run, right? Because that will affect your mental health. If your children are hungry, right? If your wife is up your ass because, hello, you just lost half of your savings, that will really affect everything. So you have to make sure that you come into this really educated, you know what you're going to do, and you're ready to accept the highs and lows of trading. Do you guys have any last words for our audience?
The market right now is not very favorable for traders. You have two choices: build skills outside trading that you can use outside of in other ways too. There's many ways to make money in crypto anyway, and at the same time, you'll never hindi ka naman lugi to create new skills, right? That's one. But two, try to stay within the market at a very managed amount of risk. Kasi yun nga, like earlier I said, you need to learn how to handle bad days. Kasi hindi mo siya maiiwasan. Right now, it's so obvious, right? But to be honest, like every year, there is always some kind of dip. There will always be some kind of dip. And if you don't know how to fail, that dip every year will get you. So learn how to trade at unfavorable markets, but very small risk, enough for you to care, enough for you to learn, but stay there. At the same time, build skills outside of it. Para may diversity ka. You're not leaning on just a thin wall. If this doesn't work out for you, you know you'll be fine. And a lot of people make better decisions when their life is not on the line, correct?
I just I just want to add to what I said earlier. So because a lot of like right now, the market is hard. Ask anyone. Ask anyone who have been into trading for many years. The market is hard right now. So, and a lot of people, they're looking for toughness, but they don't want discomfort. So what I can say is, you have to accept discomfort. You have to accept pain. You have to accept losses. I mean, pain from losses, not necessarily physically, right? So you have to accept that and face it up front that things can get ugly because a lot of guys who have started trading, especially during the bull market, right? And we have a saying, in a bull market, everyone is a genius. Now you know that we're in a bear. Ngayon tayo magkakasubukan, right? So there. Anything else?
Well, I think we're good. Does anybody have any last minute questions? Yes, sir. I've been hearing you.
Hi guys, I'm Joshua. I'm still a student, but I traded like when I was in grade 8 until now actually. So my question is, you mentioned earlier that trust the system, trust the system, trust the system. But sometimes when you trust the system, it doesn't go your way, right? Sometimes it hits your stop losses, then it suddenly goes up. So what are your ways to cope up with that trusting the system even though it failed you in the first place or it failed you in the long run?
I think as a behaviorist, right? As a behaviorist, not as a trader, but I think like when you know your system, you should also know yourself well enough to take a pause, right? Reassess yourself, realign, and then recalibrate so that you can move forward. You can't just keep telling yourself, hey, I'm going to keep doing this, and then you're stuck in a vicious cycle. Paulit-ulit, you're not learning from your mistakes, right? So, okay, hold on.
Ako, if I may, humility. Accept that you can be wrong. Because you're saying that trust the system, trust. Kung mali naman, it's not working. It's not wrong to accept. It's not, it's not bad or it's not, it's not wrong. Accept that what you've been doing is wrong and then assess, right?
So I guess mine's a little different because I've tackled this before when students are starting to ask, what do you mean by trust the system and loss ako ngayon? Categorize that loss. Is that a normal market loss? Kasi no system is 100% going to make you win. But if, like, say, you did your research, you back-tested this, you forward-tested it for a little bit, and say, 60%, 50% win rate ka, tapos you check naman your trades, you're still within 50%, you can continue to trust it. You can continue to say it's working. Kasi it's within the range of how it's supposed to behave. But, okay, for example, trust the system. You did your plan. Pero you did your trade, but you didn't execute it really according to your plan. You're going through what you actually just deserve. Kasi you weren't doing what you planned in the first place. Know when it's time to change gears. Kasi there's no one system that will work for every market. There's one system that works during a bull. Marami yan actually. May bull volatile, may bull na quiet, may bull na ranging, may bear na volatile, may bear na quiet, may bear na ranging. What does that look like? Bull volatile, ang bilis talaga umakyat ng lahat. Bull na, quiet, chill lang, paakyat siya. Pero bagal. So sometimes, our system that works on, say, a very volatile bullish market, you don't expect that to work on a bearish na stable, right? Mabagal. It doesn't look like it. May time stop ka. Hawak ko na to ng isang linggo, walang ganap. So sometimes, that's something that you have to keep in consideration. Na parang, okay, this system works, but not at this market.
So being able to identify really, right, is very, very important. All right, guys. I guess this wraps up this session. Thank you so much, and I hope that you guys learned something from us. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, panelists, for that very, very engaging discussion. We would like to request everyone to stay on stage for a quick photo op.
Hello. Sorry, shameless plug, but Web3 Festival is coming very, very, very soon. If you guys are going and if you don't have any tickets yet, my team is at the back there. She's wearing green. She's super pretty, and you can Gcash to her as well. We'll be talking as I'll be moderating on day 2 and day 3 in there, and we have awesome, awesome stuff for you guys.
All right. Can we have another picture with Miss Bianca? Again, a round of applause for everybody. I hope you all were able to pick up a thing or two. Thank you all for taking the time to join us in this afternoon session. Trade Secrets, how to trade crypto without trading your mental health. Next up, enter the metaverse. Are we ready for virtual reality? Now for